Hi, and welcome to another episode of Get Your Chat On with GYC Vegas, recorded and produced at the Video Podcast Studio. I'm your host, Gina Yager, founder and director of GYC Vegas, an award-winning PR and marketing agency. At Get Your Chat On, we sit down with local professionals to get to know a little about their organization, their role, and their perspective on our vibrant business community here in Southern Nevada. On today's episode, we're chatting with Commissioner Michael Naft, who has proudly served Clark County since 2019. Prior to the commission, Naft served as district director to Congresswoman Dina Titus from 2013 to 2019, where he worked with hundreds of federal agencies overseeing outreach and constituent services for more than 700,000 Nevadans. As a commissioner, he serves on multiple boards, including the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, and chairs both the Big Bend Water District and Clark County Audit Committee, while championing traffic safety issues and modernization efforts across county departments. A Las Vegas Academy and UNLV graduate, Commissioner Naft has dedicated his career to streamlining government services, improving emergency response, and advocating for enhanced roadway safety and tourism throughout Southern Nevada. That's a long, awesome bio.
Well,
Thank you so much for joining us today, Commissioner
Thank you
Naft.
for having me on and for having this podcast to cover so many interesting business and local issues.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, what motivated you to originally run for Clark County Commission, and now having served District A since 2019, how has that shaped your approach to governance?
Well, it was never an ambition of mine to run for office. I always believed in the power of public service. I always thought that giving back to the community is important, and I think that can manifest in a whole lot of different ways. For me, that's public service. And I was originally appointed to the county commission. I always joke that's the way to go. I highly recommend it if you can go that route.
Eases its way into service, right?
But I've been fortunate enough to be reelected now twice, and am serving in my second full term right now, and loving every minute. The Clark County is the most interesting government in the entire country. We do things that really no other jurisdiction does. It's one of the most unique places, but in every way, right? Geographically, our business industry, and our governance make it a really fascinating place. But what I like about it is it's also one of those, unfortunately, rarer and rarer places in government where you can truly get something done. If you come to the table with some good ideas, unlike legislative bodies that often are in paralysis, the Clark County Commission, you can get 2 other people, 3 other people to go along with you, and you can really make something happen.
Wow. That's unique, and it really says a lot about the ripple effect that has in the rest of the county and the rest of the region, because I see that throughout, the economy.
Yeah, I think that's right. And something else that's so interesting about it, and why I'm drawn to local government, but particularly my role on the county commission, is that sort of scale and scope of issues that we cover. I think a lot of people might know a little bit about what Clark County does, right? I think people know that we're your regional service provider like most other counties across the country. Fewer people fully appreciate the local service that we provide. And by that, I mean we're the municipal provider of service for over 1 million people in unincorporated Clark County.
Right.
We provide service, city service, to more people than any of the cities in Nevada do, right? Bigger population in unincorporated Clark County. And so for me, whose district is 80% unincorporated Clark County, we're providing all of those interesting regional and life-saving regional services, but also the things that people care about, feel, and touch every single day. It's the roads that they drive on. It's the policing in their neighborhoods. It's 911 response times through the fire department and through ambulance companies. And it's land use and zoning and planning and development and parks and recreation and all of these things that really matter, but really matter every single day to people.
To local residents, right? Right. Talk a little bit. No, I know the mapping is quite unique. Talk a little bit about what's included in your district.
So the geographic boundaries of the district I get to represent are Flamingo Road all the way south to the California and Arizona borders.
Oh, wow.
I go west as far as Durango, and I go east as far as Gibson. Better way to think about it is portions of Spring Valley, Enterprise, Laughlin, Calnavari, Searchlight, Prim, and the incorporated areas of West Henderson. Seven Hills, Inspirata, and Anthem are in the district.
Right in my neighborhood.
That's right.
That's where I live. What specific needs does your district address that, within District A? Yeah.
I'll piggyback off the last question because it is so unique, right? Those areas we just talked about, that's the 215 in Flamingo, the 15 in Flamingo, and Searchlight, Nevada. And for all three of those areas, we're providing those wide range of services, right? So it's maybe in some of those areas, intense social services. In some of those areas, there might be an increased need for fire prevention services or the police department's interactions. And in some of those areas, you have, I said Searchlight, that's a rural community of about 350 people.
Right.
And in some of those areas, it's Las Vegas Boulevard. So the needs differ dramatically based on where the residents in District A are. But I think that's also very representative of Nevada at large. In this district, we have rural communities, we have outlying areas like Laughlin, and we have the Strip. And you also have Enterprise, which if Enterprise were an incorporated city, it would be the fastest growing city in the United States. There is so much happening all along the 215 Beltway, 15 South. It makes the job really exciting, too, getting to be so hands-on in the development and the future outlook of our community.
Absolutely. I've met you at so many ribbon cuttings, groundbreakings, et cetera, where we've been fortunate enough for you to come out and support our client events and things that they're doing in our community. And your support means so much to us, and we really, really appreciate it.
You happen to have a lot of really great clients doing some really good things. So
Thank you.
Makes it easy.
Let's talk a little bit about tourism and economic impact. So how does Clark County support and enhance Southern Nevada's travel and tourism industry? And as a member of the LVCVA board, how do you help coordinate tourism efforts between the county and the city?
Yeah. So Clark County, while we have my whole life and successfully in the last number of years have focused on diversification, you hit it, right? The resort corridor is still the largest industry in the state.
Right.
Those 3.5 miles are providing economic incentives for the entire state. No matter where you live, you are benefited by what's happening in our resort corridor. And so it's significant. When I came to the county, unlike every city in Southern Nevada, there was no significant economic development office. We created that Office of Economic Development in Clark County. We reactivated several redevelopment agencies in Southern Nevada that have been part of igniting economic investment in key areas. But we have also continued to work collaboratively with organizations like LVGEA, which we help fund at the county level. And my role with the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, as you know, is largely how can we ensure that the economic livelihood of our state continues to be benefited by the industry, the tourism industry. And so the primary role of that agency is heads and beds, right? So uniquely, and you'll appreciate this, uniquely, the LVCVA does multiple things that in almost every other jurisdiction like ours is done by 3 different entities. And so we are both in collaboration with our Department of Aviation. The LVCVA works to bring new and expanded routes to Southern Nevada. The more airplanes we have landing here, the better it is for our economy, particularly if you look at the investment made by international travelers to our destination. So we do that role. We are also the marketing office, right? The brand development, the LVCVA is responsible for the brand Las Vegas, right. Visit Las Vegas. That is often done by a separate entity.
Wow.
And then on top of that, they also manage the convention center, right? Which is utilized not only to ensure that we have a physical space to bring conventions, but in a way to make sure that we're maximizing particularly midweek hotel stays so that we don't see so many surges, peaks and valleys, but we can try to level out level out the enthusiasm for our community. So the LVCVA does that through an investment from the lodging tax, which primarily is paid for by visitors and then reinvested into bringing new visitors here.
Right. How's the conversation been recently about the drop in
Challenging.
tourism? Yeah.
Look, I think we're at a moment where there are so many factors that are colliding, right? You have national politics, which is certainly playing a role. You can't argue that. You also have hit a moment where we have for so long, the resort corridor has been able to charge some obscene prices. And I think they've hit an inflection point. And to their credit, and really the credit of a lot of leaders in this community, you're seeing a pretty quick adjustment to that, right? And so that was kicked off through LVCVA's current marketing campaign, Welcome to Fabulous Las Vegas. They worked with our resort partners to make sure that there's key offerings and that we're focusing on a value customer once again. That was always Las Vegas's bread and butter. And you don't want to forget who brought you to the ball. So we have great things for millionaires and billionaires, but we also need to make sure we have great things so that everyone can feel like a millionaire when they come to Las Vegas.
Right. And locals too, right? We enjoy going down there, but when it's inflated like it has been, it makes it challenging for us to enjoy the things in our own backyard.
Well said.
Yeah. Traffic safety solutions. So as someone who's championed traffic safety for all road users, what specific initiatives are you implementing in the county?
Yeah. We're I was going to say day by day, we're trying to do more when it comes to this topic because there isn't really any other issue that impacts more people on a day-to-day basis. No matter who you are, if you're living in Southern Nevada, I bet you use our public infrastructure daily, right? You open your door, you walk out of your house off your property, and your chances are you're either in a county or city public right-of-way. You're just seeing county sidewalk. You go to school, you go to work, you're using that infrastructure. And sadly, we are losing more people on our roads than we are to violent crime, than to nearly anything else. To the tune of almost a person a day is being killed on Clark County roads. Unacceptable. It's something that I've worked before coming to the county commission. I've worked on this, and unfortunately, you're never going to solve it. So the work will always go on. We have made some really significant progress, though some days it does not feel that way. We have created for the first time nationally, we created at the local level an Office of Traffic Safety housed within Clark County with a director that focuses every single day on how each of our 39 departments and the cities that we work with and other agencies that we work with can do better when it comes to traffic safety. I passed a safe sidewalk ordinance, which requires detached sidewalks on all 60-foot right-of-way roads or greater. And if we have time, happy to talk more about detached sidewalks. I know sometimes it's not the most sexy topic, but
what does that mean?
I'm so glad you asked. A detached sidewalk is what a lot of people think is normal when you're not from here, and that's when you have the street, you have curb, gutter. And then instead of having a sidewalk right up against a 45-mile-an-hour road, you have a landscape buffer. And it's a 5-foot landscape buffer. And then you have a 48-inch sidewalk. And then you have another landscape buffer.
Got it.
The reason is if you're walking on the street, how much more comfortable is it to walk next to some rocks and some trees and some bushes than cars that are driving hopefully 45 miles an hour or less?
Right.
And so we know that has saved lives. And will continue to do so. Plus, by the way, it also raises property value. So it's kind of a win all the way around.
Right, exactly.
That's one measure that we look at that we've been successful with. And something else that we've recently had success with is expanding the crossing guard program to cover all middle schools in Clark County. For many, many years, there were only crossing guards at elementary schools, which is great and important. But all of a sudden you have kids who are entering middle schools. The parents stop walking them to the curb or walking them all the way to school or driving them to school, and they're kind of left to fend for themselves at a time in their life where they're less or more prone for risk and are going through all kinds of other developmental changes. You might not want them necessarily to go without crossing guards. So we expanded that program, and I'm really glad that all of my colleagues at the city have now, after a year of implementation, all of the cities have followed the county's lead, and every middle school in Southern Nevada is now covered by crossing guards. That's something else we've done to protect a particularly vulnerable population.
That's huge. That's huge. Speaking of, safety, let's talk a little bit about emergency response. So drawing from your experience advocating for improved emergency response at both the federal and the county level, how has Clark County continued to improve response times, and what impact have you seen?
Yeah, well, with collaboration, right? So it wasn't too long ago that 311 was stacked up. The phone lines for 311 were experiencing significant delays. Even 911 was experiencing significant delays. We, through the Metropolitan Police Department, have worked hard to staff up those dispatch positions. They've done that really well and have managed to reduce significantly the time of both those emergency numbers and non-emergency number. What we've done at the county level is really hold our contractors accountable to their contract. In Clark County, we have a dual response system through our 911 dispatch, where the Clark County Fire Department's going to respond when you have a medical call, but so is a ambulance, right? So if you're in Southern Nevada, it's either Medic West Community Ambulance or AMR. And those three private agencies contract with the local jurisdiction, and they're really responsible for transportation, right? That's their job. The fire department will stabilize, hopefully on scene, and then the private contractor comes in and does transport to likely the area hospital. And what was happening is we were experiencing some significant delays on response times. And while that is troubling for a lot of reasons, it's troubling fiscally. And that's where I took a lot of issue as my role with fiduciary responsibility for the county. The whole purpose of this contract system is to save taxpayer money. And what I mean by that is you have the fire department who is absolutely going to respond, and they're on scene, and that's appropriate. But once there's stabilization, you could let the private company take over and do the transportation. If they do not respond on time, the fire department's not going to just sit around if they need to act. And so you end up taking an entire crew off of their other responses in response to other calls to do the transportation that the private company is supposed to be doing. And so we were able to hold some of these companies to account. We ended up changing some of the boundaries, and now I'm really proud, after probably 5 years of non-compliance, we now have every private ambulance company is in compliance, hitting their response times 90% of the time. Wow.
Would it help if there were, I'm sure there's additional private companies to enter the market as well?
Yeah, so we did that a couple years ago. Actually, before I joined the county commission, in county code, it limited the number of operators who could serve in Clark County. They expanded that. They only expanded it by one, but it allowed for a new company to come into the market, create a little bit more competition, and improved service.
That's awesome. I know you're really passionate about animals and animal welfare programs. What initiatives are you most proud of in that area, and how do they benefit both our loved pets and the owners?
Yeah, thank you for asking. We a couple things that I'm happy to talk about. One of the things that I was most pleased with is that we were able to finally, after many years, take on the pet sales. One significant hurdle that we have at our shelters is that people tend not to think that perhaps the breed that they want might be available at a shelter, or there's a whole lot of other stigma involved with going to the shelter to get a new member of your family.
Right.
We have here, not only through the Animal Foundation and Nevada SPCA, But through a number of rescues in town, there are a lot of options for people to adopt rather than shopping. And so I have felt strongly and was able to persuade unanimously my colleagues to agree that it just didn't make any sense to license pet sales in Clark County. So we limited the pet sales. What happened too is California passed this law statewide a number of years ago. And as soon as they did that, a whole lot of people in this business moved to Clark County and started operating pet stores. The pets that come to pet stores are only coming there one way, right? And it's not particularly humane. It's not good for the animal, and it's not good for the family whose home they come into.
Right.
So we restricted pet sales, retail pet sales, and I believe that's had a positive impact on our shelters and will continue to. And we did it even with the support of such an interesting cross-section of people. We had animal welfare organizations, like the Humane Society at the time, who was supportive. But we also had the Chamber of Commerce that recognized that this was not a business that made sense or was beneficial to the community in Southern Nevada, and supported that initiative.
Oh, wow.
We also did Title 10 is the code in Clark County that governs most animal welfare issues. And we brought forth some significant amendments to Title 10 related to breeding and related to other enforcement action that can be taken against breeders that I think will continue to pay dividends over time.
So have you seen adoption rates increase since then?
Well, unfortunately, the challenge continues to be great. We've got a higher population that continues to grow, and unfortunately, that has impacted overcrowding at shelters as well. I'm really hopeful that with some action that the county commission has taken recently, we have right now under design an additional shelter space and an emergency shelter space. While my hope would be diversion, right? I would prefer that we need no shelter space because every animal has a permanent place to call home. With the overcrowding we're experiencing, there's not really a choice. We have to do something, and you can't have animals in that kind of condition. And so we are acting. We're recognizing that the community is growing, that it's going to reduce response times for animal protection services and our animal control officers if they have multiple places to bring animals that are taken off of the streets for their safety, and hopefully help the overall system.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about modernization efforts. So we know you've championed initiatives to modernize the Clark County departments and agencies. Can you share some specific examples of how maybe something on technology or other improvements?
Yes, I'm laughing because that was the first item I ever put on a county agenda was to explore modernization efforts almost 7 years ago now. And some days it feels like we're still as archaic as ever, but some days it feels like we have made some progress. One thing that I will always put in a plug for is Fix It Clark County. This was an app that was developed a number of years ago, which is really a rapid response system for the county. So oftentimes if residents in my district see something that doesn't look right or is a violation of county code, they'll text me, they'll email Rachel in our office, they'll communicate that to us or call the appropriate department. That's great if you know who to call and you know what to do and you have the wherewithal to do it. If not, we've developed this app, Fix It Clark County, which you can just put on your phone, download it from either of the stores. And if you see something, say you see graffiti in your neighborhood, you just snap a picture of it. It geotracks where you are. You can select what the issue is, graffiti in this case, and it'll allow for our graffiti team to be deployed to clean up that mess.
Wow.
The same could be said whether there's a tree that's fallen down or a pothole or so many other issues that impact people's life that the county actually has the ability to and has teams that can go out and resolve these problems. We sometimes just need to be made aware of them. And so that app is a really efficient, really modern, streamlined way to do it and is really successful.
That's awesome. A little bit. So this would be my kind of last question in this area right here. Let's talk about what major infrastructure projects or improvements are planned for that you are currently working on right now.
There's a lot. There's
I'm
no
sure.
shortage of things that can be improved. I'll start from the southern portion of the district.
Okay.
We just completed a full residential rehab project of every residential road in Laughlin. That's something that has had extraordinary impact. Those roads hadn't been touched in some cases for 20 years. They had been deteriorating. They were in bad condition. I was able to get the funding and prioritize a project that literally replaced every mile of residential road in the township of Laughlin. That was really exciting.
Wow, yeah.
Moving further north and talking from a different side of what we do, something that has been so significant to me was the construction and building of the Silverado Ranch Community Center. That is the first community center the county has been able to build in a decade and a half. It was the result, this part I don't get credit for, but my predecessor, Governor Sisolak, allocated through the park bond at the time dollars to be spent in District A. And so I inherited those dollars, but decided to spend them in Silverado Ranch on this community center. That area is miles away from any other county facility. And we almost 2 years ago now, we built and opened the Silverado Ranch Community Center. It's hard to say anything has changed lives in that area more than that center has. Just this morning, I was with a friend of mine who at the community center. He walks that track every single day for 45 minutes. And the reason he does it is because he had one of his lungs removed not too long ago, and the doctor told him if he didn't start walking, he wouldn't live. He wouldn't make it. And he credits that track in the community center with literally saving him. And there are so many people like that who have not only benefited from their physical fitness has benefited, but their social lives. They meet people there, they recreate, they socialize, and the impact that community centers have on people's life is demonstrated through that building. And so I'm really proud that we were able to do that. I'm very hopeful that we'll be able to, I won't break any news today, but we are working really diligently on bringing another community center to District A in the very near future because we know the impact that can have.
And the one you're talking about is, I've driven past it. It's beautiful.
You got to go inside.
Silverado Ranch Boulevard, close to Las Vegas Boulevard, right?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Kind of in the shadow of the South Point. It's in Silverado Ranch Park. Which is a great park with a dog park in it, and right on the corner of Silverado and Gillespie.
Fantastic. Okay, we're going into our Clark County lightning round of questions.
Okay,
so
I'm ready.
We
I'm
customized just for you.
Okay,
so this is like Mad Lib style. You just fill in the blank.
All right.
Which should be easy for you.
I don't do well at family game night.
The best resource for businesses looking to understand Clark County services is?
Either the Office of Economic Development, led by our Director, Shawnee Coleman, or the Office of Business Licensing, led by Director Vince Chiano.
Nice. I was just with Shawnee in D.C. when we went on our trip.
All right.
With the chamber.
With 300 other people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she sat right next to me at the counter. When companies need county permits or approvals, the most efficient way to navigate the process is?
Well, let me know if you figured it out. No, I think that's hard to do in a lightning round. You can always contact your county commissioner, and they can help walk you through the process. I think it is always better to ask questions first. Our building department is open to the public. You can walk up to the counter and ask somebody what goes into, say, I want to build X, what goes into that process, and they should be able to give you a checklist of what you might need.
Perfect. When it comes to meeting with constituents or business contacts over coffee, lunch, or drinks in your district, you can't go wrong meeting up at?
True Brew.
True Brew
is on the corner of Silverado Ranch, Seven Hills, and St. Rose.
Yes, I love that spot, and I'm very close to that. What's one Clark County service that residents in District A might not fully utilize but should?
Fix It Clark County. That app I think is really beneficial. I think too many people know about it or use it, but would benefit from it.
Nice. Okay, it's a perfect platform to share that with. When people ask questions, if they call and ask questions, do they ever, whoever picks up the phone or whoever's behind that desk, as you said, do they direct people to the app? Do they mention it?
Sure. You can also always call us, and we'll go ahead and fulfill that request for you. But we try to highlight it as much as we can.
As much as you can. Which Clark County facility, park, or service do you think deserves the most recognition? I won't let you say that one on Silverado Ranch.
I have to come up with another one?
Yep.
Oh, the most recognition. James Regional is a really significant asset in our community. It's our 18 soccer fields, premier soccer fields. And that area has the capacity to grow dramatically with many, many more sports. It's a tournament level facility. It is a significant economic booster, but also an area that locals get to take advantage of as well.
Nice. And where's the location on that one?
Off Durango and Robindale.
Okay, perfect. All right. I think we're
Is that the lightning round?
We're at the end. That's the lightning round. Yeah. It's been so much fun chatting with you. I'd like to ask you a few more questions just about, contact and engagement for your residents. So how can District A residents best reach out to you with concerns or ideas?
They can always call my cell phone 702-769-9225. I give that number to everybody. The office number is 455-3535. But also you can follow us to stay engaged. That's probably the best way to see what we're doing. We do tons of events, coffees and conversations. We do events in all of our parks. We're out in the community all the time, and you can follow me at Commissioner Naft on Instagram, Facebook, and X.
That's perfect. So what's the best way for people to stay updated on initiatives, decisions, meetings, et cetera?
In addition to following along on social, you can absolutely sign up for our newsletter, All Around A. That's the best way we highlight things that we're doing in the community. To follow along on our agendas, all of our agendas, that's every board that I serve on is a public body. And through clarkcountynv.gov, you can get agendas for county commission meetings, for our audit meetings, for our debt management meetings, and then all of the regional boards that each of us serve on.
That's a wrap for today's episode. Be sure to follow us at GYC Vegas on Instagram, Facebook, X, and LinkedIn, and subscribe to our channel wherever you stream podcasts. And if you want to learn more about how your business can enhance its marketing efforts through the power of public relations, visit our website at gycvegas.com. Thanks for listening to Get Your Chat On with GYC Vegas, and we'll see you next time.